If my veins would flow through with mustard and Diet Coke, I think I'd be happy. And I definitely think that the baby would be happy. Hello everybody and welcome back. I was just kind of laughing because I was trying to find the perfect space in our house. I know it's a little echoey. We have if I may say so myself, we have a pretty large bedroom and it's all tile. So I have, first of all, I'm out of breath. We'll get to that in a second, but I have rugs underneath our bed. However, there's not rugs underneath here, so it's probably a little echoey and I apologize for that. Also, if this had been me, let's see, 3 years ago when I was pregnant with Avery, I would have been like making sure that I was in the perfect location and the background was gorgeous and you didn't see cords from the TV. You know what, it's okay. Let me see if I zoom in some. No, that's just too close. So this is gonna have to do. But at least I can showcase one of my Christmas trees. When we bought this house, we bought it at the middle, we like put the offer in the middle to end of October and it was accepted and all that kind of stuff then, and that's when all of the Christmas stuff was first starting to go on sale. So I needed to get one for our bedroom. And so I've got like the pink and maroon and like mauve color thing going on. I like it a lot, but it's flocked, so it sheds everywhere. Anyway, that is not what this video is about. If you have read the title of this video, you know this is going to be a pregnancy update / let me catch you up on the fact that I'm now, by the time you see this, I'll be 20 weeks pregnant, probably more than halfway done with this pregnancy just from everything that's been happening, and I will get into all of that. The baby is doing great. Oh, maybe I haven't mentioned this. I don't remember if I mentioned this in the actual pregnancy announcement video, but we are not finding out what this baby is. So it's a surprise gender. My doctor's office, they always like put on my chart like secret gender or gender secret, so that nobody will tell us what it actually is. Although the nurse who did my anatomy scan, she's like, oh yeah, baby was definitely on display. I feel like it's a boy, but I also felt like Avery was a boy, and I was like certain that Avery was a boy. I don't know, I think this is a boy. I call him a boy. I'll tell Robbie like, your son is kicking, even though, I mean, it very well could be a girl. I don't know. I just feel weird calling like it's kicking, and the baby sounds so formal. It's like, I don't know, it just doesn't sound right. So most of the time I call it a him. We do have names for both, but I don't know, I feel like I should wait till we're like farther on in the pregnancy before I announce what those might be, if I announce at all. However, if we're talking about the baby, the baby is lovingly named Siegfried right now. So I'll be like, Siegfried wants this. If I like really I'm craving something, it's always Siegfried is ordering Chipotle or whatever. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on. Avery is convinced that there's a baby in her belly, and she'll like lift up her shirt and be like, look at me, the baby's kicking. Because ever since I was like 5 or 6 weeks, she'd put her hand, and I'd like, put your hand on my belly, and I would like pretend like the baby had kicked her. So she'll put her hand on her own belly and like thrust upwards or whatever you want to call it, and she'll be like, look at me. So anyway, she's gonna be an amazing big sister. She's already been a big sister twice to 2 foster sisters, and she was great. So let's start with symptoms. Obviously, I'm way past first trimester now. First trimester for this baby was so much harder, just because, well, it could have been for a couple different reasons. This pregnancy is so much different. I am working. I was working from home. We don't even need to get into that, with Avery. So it was like I could lay on the couch and work from my phone and watch TV and eat Panera mac and cheese like all day long. No big deal. And I didn't have anybody to stop me from doing that. This pregnancy, I'm working. I work part-time, so I work at our church. I love my job. I'm a children's director there. And with my best friend, who is the other children's director, we started working together in June, and it's now December, and we've become so stinking close. And she has a son that's like a year younger than Avery, and they're best friends, and our husbands have become super close. So we do a lot with them. And so the pregnancy is super different because I have resources and support. I have support through this. Like, she's been great. Like, are you feeling okay? You know, some things happened. I'll go into those later on. And like, she was with me when one of them happened and like seriously took care of me. So, anyway, I'm working. I have a child, so I'm constantly on my feet, like chasing after her, taking care of her. It's been really, really wonderful. that by this point in my pregnancy with Avery, I think I had gained 40 pounds. I gained a total of 82 pounds with Avery. Now, mind you, I was like 150 pounds soaking wet when I got pregnant with her. So it's just very different. That was obviously not the case with this one. But things are just super different. So because of that, and coupled with the fact that we were moving, oh my gosh, I had like a hard time with the nausea this time. I mean, it wasn't anywhere. It was like, it wasn't like hyperemesis gravidum, the one where like it's really bad. It wasn't that, but it was just, it stayed and stuck around a lot longer, and it was, I don't know, it started at about week 6 and it ended like seriously at the end of week 12. So, I mean, it was about 6 weeks worth of it. We were moving, I was working. We moved in with my in-laws for a little while as we were waiting for this house to be ready to be moved in. So it was just a lot going on. And I think that helped in some ways, oddly enough, because it kept my mind like off of the fact that like, oh, like we're almost to 12 weeks, we're almost there, we're almost there, and like being worried about possible miscarriage or anything like that. With Avery, I had a subchorionic hematoma. I have a video on that, and I'll put a card up top where I talk about it. That has not happened with this baby, which has been really, really wonderful. So other than being like super nauseous and super tired, there wasn't a whole, I had lower back pain. And that made me kind of nervous for a while because I didn't have that with Avery, or I didn't remember that I had that with Avery. But I had lower back pain pretty early on, and it lasted a while with this baby. When I got to the second trimester, I feel like I definitely was not nauseous anymore. I still take a nap like every day. Why? Because my toddler takes a nap, and it's a chance for me to lay down and take a nap if I want to. But also just because, I don't know, I feel like I'm still kind of tired, and maybe it's due to the fact that I have a toddler and I work this pregnancy, but I take a nap like every day. And I always say like, I'm not going to take a nap today. And then like 2 o'clock hits and I'm like, just, my eyes are like really heavy. Okay, symptoms. I'm still tired, like I just said. Oh, but my gracious, I don't remember this from Avery's pregnancy. I am so hormonal, I guess is the word, but like fired up, like very quickly. I'm not afraid to say something, which I don't feel like I've ever been, like I've never loved confrontation, and I still don't like confrontation, but I feel like now I am more willing to like stick up for myself, which may be a good thing, but I really hope it's not like a personality trait of the child that's growing inside me that's like, because sometimes I feel like, man, I just snap, and I'm hoping it's just hormones because, yeah, and I'm hoping it goes away, honestly, because it's just kind of like, I don't know, I get fired up really easily. My skin, with Avery, I don't remember this either, but like my skin is so bad. And at the beginning of this pregnancy, I had the glow, if I may say so myself. I felt like my makeup was really easy to put on. It didn't have a lot of texture. It was glowy, it was dewy, it was perfect. And then just within the last month, it has gotten so bad. I had a facial last week, did absolutely nothing. She did like a vitamin D serum, and she did all kinds of stuff, and I mean, it did nothing. And I don't think it was her fault. I think it's just the fact that my skin is just so bad right now. Like my makeup doesn't go on well, and it drives me nuts. So that, coupled with the fact that my hair is also extremely dry. With Avery, I had good hair. I had really good hair. I felt like my hair was beautiful. It was silky. It grew so beautiful and long. Not with this baby. I've chopped it. I have it up in a clip because it's just, I don't know what to do with it most days. So it's been a struggle. I've had it like deep conditioned a couple times, and it definitely helps. And I've changed up my hair routine a little bit, but man, I don't think my hair has ever been this dry. So I don't know, they say that if you're having a girl, they steal all your beauty, but Avery definitely didn't do that to me, so who knows. But that's definitely been a big one, and that's been going on since even in the first trimester. My hair has just been super dry, and every hairdresser that I've been to says like, oh, yep, it's definitely the pregnancy, and they all say, oh, it's probably a girl. So, and then the last one is I am hungry all the time, and I popped really fast. My belly, my uterus is where, it's where it was when I was probably 28 weeks with the first pregnancy, and I feel like I just popped really quickly, even though the baby is right around the middle of my belly button is typically where I feel kicking. So I don't know, but I'm hungry all the time. All the time. And I don't remember this from the first pregnancy. It's been 3 years. I should probably go back and watch like some of those pregnancy update videos, but like all the time. I'm currently drinking a protein shake. I'll get into all that, but I seriously eat like breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, maybe another snack, dinner, and then almost another dinner before I go to bed because I'm just hungry all the time. At the beginning of this pregnancy, I think it was still salty. Like I didn't really have anything that was like, I have to have that. But there were definitely things that didn't sound good. Bacon, From the beginning of this pregnancy, bacon does not sound good. And Robbie will make me eggs in the morning, and he likes bacon chopped up in his. So he'll be like, do you want bacon in yours? And I'm like, I'm sorry, no, please don't. No, I can't. Even though I know it would be so much easier for him to just chop up the bacon and give us both eggs with bacon, but I don't like it. Strawberries, hate strawberries. I've never hated strawberries. I've always really liked strawberries. Every strawberry that I've put in my mouth since I was probably 8 or 9 weeks pregnant just tastes bitter and so sour. It just does not taste good to me. And I don't know what it is because I usually love strawberries and I used to buy strawberries every week and I don't think I've bought them in probably 2.5 months now. So they're not my thing. However, oranges and pineapple, I cannot get enough oranges. I cannot get enough pineapple. I love it. I love it so much. And even though it gives me terrible heartburn, I love it. I want it all the time. And lately, I saw this girl on TikTok and she was eating her lunch while she was doing her video, and she was eating chicken sausage and green beans, but she had everything smothered in mustard. I've never liked mustard, ever. Mayo, yes. Ketchup, oh yeah. Mustard, no. Never liked mustard, especially like regular yellow mustard. You know, I could eat like Dijon mustard on things, and I don't mind if mustard is mixed into things, but never mustard like on a sandwich, or like I've never had a hot dog with mustard. No. Oh my gosh. I cannot get enough mustard now. Like every day for lunch, I have bratwurst because we didn't have chicken sausage whenever I saw this video, but we did have bratwurst. So Robbie made me bratwurst seriously at 11 o'clock at night. And I smothered it in mustard. We had green beans. I ate green beans and sausage and I'm not even joking, smothered in mustard. And it tasted so good. So I have had bratwurst and green beans with mustard every single day. And I'm not even joking. It's 10:45 right now. My mouth is watering because I cannot wait to have my sausage and mustard for lunch. Avery's been eating a lot of sausage, and she's kind of like, I'll pick her up from school, and sometimes she's like, Mama, we have sausage for lunch. And other times I'll say like, oh, Avery, you want to go home and have sausage? And she's like, no, sausage, because she eats it so much. But that's kind of been my craving lately. Oh, and Diet Coke. With Avery, it was Dr. Pepper. This baby, it's Diet Coke. I love Diet Coke. I want it like flowing through my veins. If my veins would flow through with mustard and Diet Coke, I think I'd be happy. And I definitely think that the baby would be happy. So that's been my craving. So, and popcorn, a little bit. Ice cream, no. Like sweet stuff, is besides like fruit and besides oranges and pineapple. Like we had cake yesterday at work. Didn't look good to me. I didn't need to eat it anyway. But like it just, that kind of stuff, which normally I'd be like, yes, give it to me. No, it just doesn't sound good. I'd rather have my sausage and mustard. So yeah, that's kind of the cravings that I've been having. But I would say they're probably more salty than sweet, which I think leads to boy, but I don't know. So something that's very different with this pregnancy is I've already been diagnosed with gestational diabetes, and I didn't even have to take the test. So I was diagnosed with PCOS, insulin resistance, and diabetes type 2 in, I believe it was March or April of this year. It may have even been May. I had 3 diagnoses like back to back to back. I had ADHD, PCOS, and diabetes type 2 in like a 3-month span. So I don't remember when it was. But when they told me that I was PCOS, insulin resistant, and I had type 2 diabetes, they were like, you're not bad enough to have to check your sugars every single day. Just take metformin twice a day and you'll be fine. And that actually worked. My A1C and my hemoglobin levels, I don't know what any of that means, but from what they tell me, they looked good. So they just kept me on the metformin. I was also on things like Ozempic and spironolactone for like my PCOS. And the Ozempic was actually working super, super well. I'll have to do a video on that later on. But it's something that I will definitely be looking into once this baby is born and I'm no longer breastfeeding. But anyway, so they had me on metformin. They took me off of everything else when I got pregnant and told me to just stay on a prenatal and the metformin twice a day. Great. So I go into my first appointment. We see baby's heartbeat. Everything's good. Everything's fine. Come into the next appointment and my doctor says, I'm so sorry. I missed the last time that you were type 2 diabetic. And she's like, so tell me about that. I'm like, well, I don't really know much about it. I just know that I've been diagnosed with it and that I'm insulin resistant and that they have me on metformin. And that's my PCP. And she's like, okay, well, I want you to go see a high risk doctor. And that kind of took me like off guard because I was thinking like high risk doctors are for people who have babies that have like heart defects or maybe they've got like some sort of something. I didn't know that women that had type 2 diabetes qualified to see the high-risk maternal fetal medicine doctor. I'm glad I do see the maternal fetal medicine doctor, but they got me in to see that doctor like a week and a half later. I think I was 14 weeks. Let's see, I've been checking my sugars now for 6 weeks. Yes, so I must have been about 14 weeks when I went to go see the maternal fetal medicine doctor. And they did like an extensive scan and then they had me meet with a diabetes educator. Let me just say that it would have been super nice, and I know that this is really hard to do because diabetes educators are super busy and diabetes nutritionists are super in demand. It would have been super nice though for when I had been diagnosed in March, April, or May to be able to go and see somebody who could tell me this is how to keep your blood sugars where they should be. Forever, I've always had kidney pain on the left side, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I always chug a bunch of water. Robbie has to rub on my back. And then I'm like, oh, it's just my kidneys. I just need to be drinking more water. Even if I'm drinking a gallon of water a day, I just need to be drinking more water. Well, since I have been eating the way I've been supposed to be eating for my diabetes type 2, gestational diabetes, whatever the heck you want to call it, I have not had any kidney pain. And it has been like such an eye-opener. I feel so much better. Just in general, and a little brag, which is not really a brag, but kind of is. Like I told you, with Avery by this point, I had gained like 40 pounds. I have gained, the last time I stepped on the scale at the doctor's office, which was 2 weeks ago, 6 pounds in 18 weeks of pregnancy. So I know that's going to go up, obviously, and I know that I'm going to be eating more as the baby gets bigger and yada, yada, yada. But that is just such a big relief for me because one of the things was when I got pregnant, I was 215. Just being super, super honest with you. When I got pregnant with Avery, I was 150. When I got pregnant with this baby, I was 215, and I was so worried about gaining another 80 pounds and then having to work off that plus what I still hadn't lost from everything before. And it has been really such a, I don't know, like it's just been a breath of fresh air to go and step on the scale and see that it has not gone up that much at all. And the doctor has even said, like, you're doing really, really well in your nutrition, which is like the highest compliment I think I could have ever received. Anyway, so what does that mean for me? Because I have gestational diabetes or type 2 diabetes, number one, I don't have to take the glucose test. They've already said, like, we're going to watch your sugars. They had me start taking my blood sugar at 14 weeks, and I take it 4 times a day. So I take it as soon as I wake up in the morning. I take it 2 hours after I eat breakfast, 2 hours after I eat lunch, and 2 hours after I eat supper. And for the first month, that was all they had me do. And my numbers during the day looked really good, but my fasting numbers, which is the number that you wake up with in the morning, were not so great. And that's not anything that I could have done. It didn't matter what snack I had before bed, because they do recommend you have something, whether it be like me, a second dinner, or, some sort of something. It didn't matter what I was eating at night. I could have eaten ice cream. I could have eaten bratwurst. I could have eaten kale. Like, it just was not affecting the numbers of my fasting numbers, which means in the middle of the night, my blood sugar was spiking for some reason. So when I went to go see the doctor 4 weeks later, they started me on insulin. So I now take insulin at night before I go to bed, and it has been helping. My fasting numbers are a lot lower. They'll probably have to up that as I continue on in pregnancy, because the reason that they told me this happens is if you're insulin resistant, you're already kind of at a double whammy, because when you're pregnant, your placenta produces anti-insulin enzymes. I don't know. Something that is like anti-insulin. So it makes it harder, especially if you already have issues with it. So that's kind of that. Everything's fine. Baby's fine. Definitely a lot more chill than Avery was. I started feeling Avery kick at like 16 weeks and she never stopped. She was always moving. Robbie was able to feel her pretty early. My mom was able to feel her pretty early. This baby, along with the fact that I'm heavier, I totally understand that it may take a while to feel it, but this baby's just super chill. Super chill. Like, you know, I may feel a kick like once every couple hours. With Avery, I felt him constantly from the time I could feel him. And, you know, I have a Doppler, so I always check, and he's always chilling in there. His heart rate's always in the 140s or 150s, so he's always good. But I don't know, he's just a lot more chill. It'd be nice to have a chill baby. Avery was not chill. Anyway, so I know that this has been like a super long video, but if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see, if you'd like to see like what I eat in a days, or if you have any questions, I would love to answer them. I could definitely do a question and answer. This baby just is so much different, so it's its own person. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching and always being such a sweet audience and always being such like family and friends. So until next time, I love you all and God bless you.